switch gears a little bit, and we're going to talk about something that Nick's been wanting to talk about for a long time, and we might take a little bit of extra time to talk about it. So if you're interested in virtualization, not just VMware, notice I said virtualization, stick around, grab a drink, because this is going to be fun. I have an interesting guest that I haven't had a chance to hang out with too much yet. He is based in the Netherlands, I believe. Is that correct? Yep.
Correct.
Mr. Richard Van Dantzig. Thank you very much for joining the show. Yet another A-Team member representing here at the show.
I can join this interview. So, really happy to be here.
Yeah. So, we just came out of VMware Explore about 3 to 4 weeks ago, right? Throughout the year, we've been dealing with a little bit of the fallout of the Broadcom takeover of VMware. And there have been some pricing changes. There have been people kind of freaking out a little bit about what to do about it because the prices went up and all of that. NetApp's position is, one, we will always be Switzerland to all solutions. We serve NFS to everybody equally, right?
Yeah.
And other protocols. But on the other side of it, we have the ability to be extremely efficient and diligent with how we serve storage to any of these platforms, which can be incredibly cost-saving when it comes down to it. So I'm curious to hear, especially coming from Europe, like what is the temperature of the room over in Europe when it comes to virtualization in general? Are people kind of sticking with VMware, or are you seeing and hearing that other alternatives are being explored?
I'm now about 20 years in the virtualization, so really coming back to VMware in 2004, the first project. And working for now 4 years for ITQ, one of the biggest VMware partners in Europe. And yeah, it was a really extreme year for us. We went all in on VMware, I think about 10, 12 years ago as ITQ. And things are changing. The acquisition took a really long time. Even VMworld last year was VMware Explore last year.
Yeah,
I always call it VMworld.
Yes,
I always
still
do it.
It will always be VMworld to me.
Yeah, last year it was already what will happen and when will it happen.
Yeah,
and then November hits, and all stopped. Broadcom just took it slow, made the decisions, but wasn't really pushing what plans are. So for us, it's also important that we know, virtualization is broad, not only VMware, but there are so many different hypervisors or solutions in there. So we are really looking also into solutions on the cloud native space. So Red Hat, SUSE, that kind of things, but also Nutanix. The virtualization market is broad, and I think that is the only way forward to be agnostic for our customers. Because that's the business is all. We are here to boost business and not just.
So even being one of VMware's top partners in Europe, you're still even that business, you're having to look at alternatives to offer your customers because of some of these changes that have been made. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. So we went, of course, all in on VCF in the last years. So we have a really good point now where we can use the acceleration of Broadcom on VCF, but there's more. And especially products from like NetApp, which are agnostic to hypervisors, can help us solve the issues for our customers and make that not fixed in stone for the moment.
Well, I do have a bit of breaking news that I can share. And so I'll set this up by saying about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, I went out exploring to see could we really garner some interest from some of these alternatives. And one of the things that I did was I went to the Proxmox virtualization engine, Proxmox VE or PVE, went to their forums, and I went to the Proxmox subreddit and put up a pretty lengthy post on both of them saying, "Hi, we're NetApp. How can we help?" And because of that attitude, if you take things back 15 years, we always supported Zen Server. We always supported Rev. Rest in peace, Rev. I miss you. Come back. We always we had great support for Hyper-V as it came up in the early 2010s. and of course VMware. We had a small army of about 10 to 12 people at NetApp that did all of the virtualization solutions, wrote the best practices, all of that stuff, did all of the testing, performance testing, and all that for all of the hypervisors. It dwindled down over time. So I am on a mission to sort of bring some of that back myself. So the bit of breaking news that I have for everybody is not only is Proxmox VE now officially on the interoperability matrix, or the IMT, at NetApp for NFS, Fiber Channel, and iSCSI. That's one. Two, it is now in, you can go to docs.netapp.com, and you will find some official documentation and some guided steps on how to configure a NetApp storage system with Proxmox VE. Yeah, so we had to get those. We got through those this summer. This was the first really big step, in my opinion, to begin to support an additional hypervisor. And I think Proxmox, most people don't know that it's been around since 2005. It's been around almost as long as VMware has. It's just been such a smaller market. I think they're based in Austria, if I remember, Vienna, if I remember right. Yeah. And they've got a few thousand customers, right? But they're all open source. They put all of their solutions out there. Very small crew supporting it. I just see it as potentially one that could make a huge splash.
Yeah, at Proxmox, it's a really nice virtualization platform that's already out there much. A lot of people are experimenting at the moment with it because it's an alternative. I think it's now still lagging behind on enterprise support. Business hour support is okay-ish, but not like the whole support team from VMware or Microsoft.
Now, from what I understand, they are working on that. I think they're trying to build up a bit of a call center and have an offering with quick support and things like that. And even though it is an open source tool, much like Red Hat used to do back in the day for RHEL, you can pay like a per host support. I think it's maybe about $100 per node or something like that to be able to call in and get support on anything you might be having trouble with. Check the website don't quote me on any of that stuff, guys.
No, we're really going to look into those docs because I think it's helpful for our customers who are now POCing or testing alternatives.
Yeah, we definitely have. There's more work to do. It is by no means complete, right? But we definitely want to get the ball rolling. And since our docs are Git-based, we can iterate on those and update those as we find new things. The important thing to take away is one of the things that were communicated to me on the forums by the staff over at Proxmox was that they are rebuilding their entire storage plugin API from the ground up, and that's in progress. I think they just started it in July, if I remember right. So that's going to be huge because it gives us the potential in the future, once they complete that work, to not only maybe contribute to some of that, but also bring things like the OTV or the ONTAP tools potentially for Proxmox. So maybe we have OTP or OTP-VE in the future. Not promising anything, I'm speculating, but I think it opens up the door for that to really be an alternative hypervisor for people. I'm curious, have you seen much more? We haven't seen much uptake in the US on alternatives like that. Mostly it's around OpenShift, virtualization, and mostly it's around, what's the other one I'm thinking of? Hyper-V. People are leaning back into Hyper-V.
Or Azure Stack as alternative for the...
Yeah, the Azure Stack HCI stuff.
Yeah, we see that also. A lot of companies are looking into it. Do I really see decisions made at the moment? No. Most companies have long-term license agreements with Broadcom, for instance, and they are waiting what will happen when the storm slows down.
While they're waiting that out, are they evaluating these alternatives on the side just to see? Do you ever hear of companies that are sort of moving away from virtualization altogether and looking at refactoring workloads into container-based and running them in the cloud as an alternative?
Yeah, at ITQ we have a really big cloud-native department who was helping our customers on the cloud-native side of things. So they was really based on the Tanzu stack, but they're also expanding to different vendors. What you see is that customers want to do it, but often the application vendors are lagging behind because not every application can be refactored into a container.
Right.
So I personally believe that there will always be a mix of traditional workloads and modern workloads. And that will need to be consolidated on the platform that is secure, that is available, that is performant. Yeah, that you need to have some in the layer that combines it all. And that can be VMware, but I think one of the major points is where do you leave the data?
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
NetApp Insight.
Well, there's no better storage for virtualization in VMware than NetApp, honestly. Yeah. And the ironic backstory of that is it kind of caught us by surprise at how efficient, especially once we got vSphere 4 with NFS and we got 10 gig Ethernet from Cisco with the Nexus switches. Wow, everything sort of lit up all of a sudden, and then deduplication came in.
I was really lucky. I started my career with VMware and NetApp almost at the same time.
Oh, nice.
So, and we had a pretty fixed architecture, what we delivered to our customers, and that was always VMware with NetApp underneath. Yeah, so that combination has always been gold for me. And I think I really hope for Broadcom and VMware and for all the customers that will also stay for longer, because it is really a good solution. But if it doesn't, yeah, NetApp has the best cards in hand at the moment to be the platform underneath everything.
Do you think some of the things that have been announced this week will affect virtualization, whether it's VMware or other? The disaggregated storage platforms, anything to do with the AI that's going to drive people into or out of virtualizalization? What are your thoughts around that?
I think that AI is really the big game changer at the moment, because workloads are now being developed, or the tooling is being developed at the moment, and those tooling and those workloads will be cloud native by de facto standard. So there will be much more a platform for not so much for virtual machines, but for containers or modern apps. I think that will be a real game changer, and I see there will always be some parts left, especially for legacy applications in our hospitals or on our government, that will have a long-term relationship with virtual machine workloads, like we have done for the last 25 years.
Yeah. I look at some of the ways that AI might help people be more efficient and reduce the number of VMs or the sprawl, or be able to help evaluate some of that stuff. And maybe you can consolidate certain things down into maybe less VMs but larger VMs, or maybe you want to scale them out automatically and scale them back down. I think there's going to be some mechanisms that AI is going to bring to the table, maybe some additional utilities or just utility in general that you could sort of resize the size of your virtual environment. And in combination with some containerization, you can really modernize an infrastructure really quickly, which would have a big effect on reducing the overall cost of your virtualization footprint.
Yeah, what the big advantage is with AI, it is less objective.
Yeah.
So we are all human from nature. We have our own thoughts, history with products and platforms that will always stay in. So maybe it's good if an AI just gets objective into the situation and says, yeah, I know it's really nice to have all those different platforms, but hey, let's consolidate to this. Maybe it helps.
It'd be interesting to see if VMware implemented a sort of Copilot-like AI inside of vCenter, for example, that maybe would give you suggestions, almost like Clippy in Microsoft Office, right? It would give you suggestions about how to resize your infrastructure, right?
Yeah, at ITQ we have our own Einstein.
Nice.
It's our own work with all information gathered for all the consultants at ITQ, because that's where the knowledge is.
Yeah.
And we are really getting used to using it just to have some simple questions or have customers ask questions. They are now requesting consultants.
There you go.
So it's really cool.
Yeah.
That's a side project from Johan van Amersfoort at ITQ. Yeah. It's really good. It's cool to be in this time of IT.
Well, Richard, thank you so much for being here with me today. I really appreciate the conversation. I feel like I could talk about this for another hour with you, but we got to get going. We got to get moving. Thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, yeah.